clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me Fuck all that shit,
going
just
nuts.
let me go.
Broadcasting live from the heart of the earth. This is the most badass YouTube broadcast in all the known land. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Tommy C, and this is Shot from the Point Live. Dead on Dave, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. It is. We're trying to figure out the last show you were on. We're thinking close to a year and a half.
It's got to be about a year and a half ago.
I'm thinking like late 2018.
Shit, it feels good to be home.
Like summer, spring 2018. That's how.
Something like that.
Do you remember the last show you were on?
It was after the Onision'S show. We did a couple, but I want to say we didn't do any in
we
2019.
didn't do much. No, because that's
you know what? We may have done one early when I was still here in Germany before I left.
Really?
Early, like after
because
the team started.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did. Of course, Dr. Vago's behind the glass. Thank you, Doc.
Hello.
All is well, sir. How are you?
So I don't think you did more than 2 shows with Doc when we changed the way we do stuff. So yeah, the Dead on Dave's back. And I guess one of the reasons I thought it would be appropriate is not only to celebrate the more than 500,000 hits that the Onision video got. I don't like talking about drama seriously, as you well know. I do that on my news channel. But nobody on this planet can talk about stupid stuff and sound halfway intelligent than Dead on Dave.
This is very true. You're lucky to have fucking Babe Ruth on the bench, baby.
You can take the stupidest topic, and make it sound like it's a normal conversation.
Right, yeah.
Like an adult conversation. So that's what Dave is no Onision. Welcome back. Wait, the fans are going berserk. Kill switch. Welcome, Dead on Dave.
Man.
Yeah, I'm figuring.
Thank you, guys.
Diva's in the chat. George 12's in the chat. Haven't seen him in a minute. Where you been? You got your Real-talk badge. Okay. The Warden. Welcome back, Dave. Yeah, maybe this will be a legendary show. Actually, I'm gonna treat this like your specialty, interviewing.
I am.
Yeah, that's your specialty. But
that's a lot of money.
I think I'm going to treat this sort of like an interview. So we have this situation yesterday. All right, or it really happened on Fed. Hansen goes
January 9th.
January 9th. Yeah, because we didn't find out about it till yesterday.
Right.
We have the situation. We have a reporter going to a house, and I'm glad this happened because this is something. Because there is a different stand and a different ethics code on YouTube than there is in the real world, in normie land. And I know what to call them, normies, but I don't know what to call us. You know that? 5.5, Jay Nord, welcome back. Princess Dave!
Oh,
Hope
shit.
you stay.
Oh, my God. Making me dig, huh?
It's $5. Are we doing that? Do you have the hats? I don't know. Can we do that?
We got the hats.
Can we do the hat?
You know what? I appreciate that the people remember. Now, I can't find the tiara, but how about a little unicorn action to start off the fucking
It's the same people. I don't grow. What are you talking about?
It's good to know that I'm still remembered. Never forgotten, bitches. Never
Hat
forgotten.
changed, $5. There you go.
That's a lot of money, I guess, for a
RT Flyfire. You played Age of Wonders yet? No. Sorry. No. We look like phone gamers, do you? I'll have to ask my wife now. But thank you so much.
God, I'm sick.
But let's get into it. No, so this is a topic that, you know me, when I bust out in the YouTube scene, I think I'm personally responsible for killing the Golden Rule.
You think you're personally responsible?
I think
for
I'm
a lot of
personally responsible for killing the Golden Rule. Nobody even says it anymore. Nobody ever, unless it's really egregious. Nobody even says Golden Rule anymore. Yeah, it's because I have my rule. Screw me, I dump my fucking DMs.
Let me fuck you before you fuck me.
Yeah. I got plenty of DMs from people that would be extremely embarrassing or hypocritical, but they never screwed me. So, and yeah,
there's nothing wrong with not being the guy to fuck with. Okay, I think that's an okay thing to set up.
I hate that. So this is kind of like one of those things. We had a reporter that went to somebody else's house, knocked on the door. He said, "Get the fuck out," and called the police, which is, of course, his right as well. Right. But I guess I want to play devil's advocate. I know how I feel about this, but I know also how you do feel is if somebody did that to Pyrocynical, knocked on the door, even just exactly what Chris Hansen. I got to be honest, the internet would be outraged. The YouTube fans would be outraged.
Absolutely.
I think
that's a lot of money.
That's
I guess,
fair to say.
for a person
But
of
is it
color.
also fair to say that that's stupid? If you're a public figure, especially of Greg's stature, and especially accused of what he's accused of, is it unreasonable to knock on somebody's door? Dead on Dave. Take it away.
I think that's the big nuance right there. It's situational, and we have a situation here that I think warrants it. This is not some asshole that just, claims to be a journalist and walked up to this guy's door. This is Chris fucking Hansen. 34 years of actually putting his own body between child fuckers and the child.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's an authority and a journalist and has a reputation, including contacts that no other fucking YouTuber who up to this point, all we've done is make videos on Onision and meme him. We've done nothing of substance. We've done nothing to stop the abuse that Onision has continued to allegedly do.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to start turning on a guy who went about something the right way. Hansen's been dealing with this case now for over 6 months. He's brought in every victim that he fucking possibly could. Mm-hmm. He's talked to everybody fairly, got the story, got the experts in it. Hell, he even got Blair White on the fucking show to talk about everything. Repsion, every victim, all of it. No, this is the next logical step.
Yeah.
This is that next logical step. This isn't just walking up to like Keemstar's door or Pyrocynical's door for no reason and being, hey, I'd like the interview on this. No, this is a working, ongoing case that apparently the FBI is also aware of, at the very least.
Are we sure about that? Are we?
That's at least what's been said.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not.
We'll find out
because it's an ongoing investigation.
But I think one of the reasons, I'm glad you brought that out, because I think one of the reasons Hansen's having problems right now is the fact that he kind of ran his mouth early on. And we haven't, or the public hasn't seen the results. In fairness, we know investigations can go on years in some cases, but it's looking more like he may have not broke the law, and that's why we haven't heard anything from the mainstream media. And
which Hansen has said, by the way.
Yeah.
Hansen himself is unsure if he's actually broken an actual law. I think him going to the House could mean one of two things. Either he feels that there's no way that he's going to get prosecuted on anything, or maybe it's closer than we even know.
Or he's or with the recent events, Nick Vakota, his helper, his online helper, has made a fool of himself. And I knew not Nick Diorio, but Nick Diorio has mentioned that this might be. And I thought it was I don't necessarily agree with him, but it's definitely a possibility. There's pressure on him to produce something at this point because he did say he didn't broke the law, but he also said FBI investigation at the same time. Yes. So there is a lot of pressure on him to produce. He talked a tough game, and it's Chris Hansen, and nothing happened. Which, by the way, I predicted.
What it looks like
to this
now,
point.
What do you got?
They could be looking at it looks like they're looking at his wife.
More so.
Yeah.
Than
well,
him.
I think Kai
They're
is
looking more
probably.
into that.
I think Kai might have a little bit more culpability because he's been the one, she's been the one, whatever we want to go on that route. That has, right, and has been the person that has been that recruiter, for lack of a better term, the person who's gone out and brought people into the relationship for grooming or whatever else it's been.
Yeah, that's
so
another
that
thing.
might be the more focused.
That's another thing. Grooming. There's no statute of law in the United States called grooming.
Right.
There's no statute of law for predator. There's not like there's exchanging of child porn, there's underage sex, there's pedophilia, there's all sorts of other the words that we see associated, predator and grooming with Onision aren't necessarily against the law. Now I've heard that Chris used the word enticement. Now, from what I understand, in certain states, there's law there is laws against enticement of minors. That's going to be and you could look. Onision groomed some of these people. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, no question.
But if he's not sleeping with them after they're 18, he might be safe.
Right. And that's where I think the FBI thing actually does come in, because that's the one thing that's kind of been dropped since the first week. When it first started and Hansen first started like doing the show and talking about Onision, one of the things he brought up that was a big sticking point was the fact that did Onision have any legal guardianship of these people while they were minors and then fuck them when they became of legal age? Because that's the one that you could get him on.
Really?
If this goes to the, I think so.
Would he?
I don't think you can have legal guardianship over somebody.
What about Woody? What about Woody Allen? Didn't he have guardianship over Sun Yi? He never did in time.
Then he married her.
And he married her.
Became a different situation though.
Because he married her.
Because he married her. I think that becomes a different situation altogether because it's no longer a guardian and guardian. It's a spouse.
Yeah, I've also heard that he never had guardianship over him too. That he actually
that
never.
hasn't been proven either.
Yeah, but when it happened in the early '90s, I mean, it was reported widely that Woody Allen had guardianship over her. And I think it's because I'm old. That's the first thing I think of. I think of Woody Allen because it's the closest thing.
Everybody is Googling Woody Allen right now because he just dated everybody. Nobody has a fucking
clue.
Made
a bunch of movies that Jewish people like. Actually, he made a few good ones. The one where he grew up next. One good movie that he made is when it's where he grew up next to the cyclone in Brooklyn. And they had to sleep in the stupid fucking roller coasters going around. that was a good movie. I forget what that was called. But KX, I hope a plethora of large birdie birds run a train on you until you're paralyzed from the waist down. Good day, you D-bag. D-bag sandwich, that's no. Which I dislike.
That's a lot of
greatly,
money, I guess.
And it's also, that's $50. Thank you so much, KX. He doesn't like me, but he's quite a good supporter of the show. Thank you so much, KX.
I'd say, shit, I wish you didn't like me that much. Holy fuck.
Yeah, he likes you. That's the problem.
Oh, okay. Well,
he likes you. So, I mean, I think there's pressure. Now, getting back to the sort of YouTube code of ethics, nobody's house under no circumstances, and the real world, as I would like to call it. I grew up with, Nick and I were talking about this a little bit. We had like the News 4 New York, where I grew up, and we're probably watching that in Connecticut. They knock on your door all the fucking time if you're involved in a scam. Right. You want to answer to this. Nobody screams doxing. And I gotta be honest with you.
Let's go there real quick. I want to use that. I want to get that word out of the fucking way.
And
this is the last time I think any of us should fucking use the word doxing. Public fucking records, assholes. Yeah. Public fucking records. There is no dox here. Onision's shit has been fucking public for a long time, mainly because of the legal issues that he's already had. This is not a dox. There's no way a logical person can say
Nerd City used that. I mean, I found that really funny. That this is what started. Let's not beat about the bush here. Nerd City started all the controversy when he responded to Chris Hansen's video, and he used the word "we don't like doxing," and we don't like what was the other word he used? We don't like doxing, and we don't like
showing up on doorsteps.
Showing up on doorsteps. And I thought it was funny that he said we, as in like the non-normies. We also don't like snitching to the government, so.
I love Nerd City.
I'm not saying that, but he's talking, but he's saying we as, and I hate saying non-normie, all right? I just don't know what else, I don't know the pejorative, for the people that get the bulk of their.
He deleted that tweet.
What's that? He did?
Did he?
I think he deleted that.
No,
tweet.
I don't think he deleted it. Did he?
I hope he did.
Yeah. The very first one that started this whole
Jesus,
thing.
I fucking hope.
Well, I found it funny that he used the word we. And one of the other no-nos, showing up your doorsteps is going to government and regular mainstream journals. And he's broken that code proudly. Plenty of times. So I just found it funny that he said
how
we.
many videos has Nerd City made on Onision? Because I want to say the answer is 0, but I'm not sure. First off, where the fuck have you been? Where the fuck has everybody else been? That's the first thing. If you're going to start using we, where have we been to curtail this fucking uproarious behavior?
He brought Copeland in. He's working on getting Copeland to YouTube.
A decade. This motherfucker has been running roughshod over, which brought Hansen here in the first place. And I want to talk about that at some point because Hansen's here for a couple of reasons. Okay? He ain't happy that Onision's been able to get away with
here
this on
too.
Platform. Right, yeah. Jesus.
Yes, but go ahead. No, finish.
The thing that bothers me about it is from day one, there's no question in my mind that Hansen has had multiple purposes for being here. He is furious over the fact that 34 years he's been doing this shit. 34 years he's been in the entertainment industry, and yet he gets demonetized because he can't use the word predator.
That just says he's a boomer. He's just a boomer, not paying attention.
It's kind of ridiculous. He seemed to take that as a slight, like he's taking it very.
Yes, he doesn't understand this world. He counts on Vince and.
So the first time that he even brought up the FBI was to talk to the cybersecurity division in the FBI, because he knows that guy apparently, and they had a direct in to YouTube, which apparently he was able to get some sort of conversation over some things, but he never clarified it after that. And I'm wondering it's because it's part of a deeper investigation. I don't know if that's to be the case, but typically when a guy like Hansen says something like that and then kind of goes quiet on the subject, it's either because there's nothing there at all, or it's because it's still being worked. But he seemed to take this very fucking personally, that he can't get monetized for the work that he's putting in when he's trying to take down a known and alleged, reported, whatever predator.
I got an answer for him. It's because of your fucking industry that put us in this position. So now you're an independent journalist, and now you're and by the way, all the stuff you're doing is being rerouted to your former employers, and we can't do news over here. And you watch Tim Pool, he can't even talk like a fucking adult.
Right.
I mean, you watch Jeremy, he has to say S word and C word, and he can't talk like a grown up. And we don't have FCC regulations. We can say "fuck you, you dirty cunt." Right. I mean, I take the bullet. That's I take the bullet because I can't change this show. Tackling Crow. The only issues I see is a lack of accountability,
a lot of money, I guess,
and DMCA for doxing for Team Hansen. 2 weeks ago, Hansen struck down a video to expose Vince and Pro. Well, you know what I'm thinking, and I think that's why he's got a break, Cackling Crow. Everybody knows that Chris is a bit of a boomer.
He's old.
And Vince kind of is too. He does not know this world. He does not know this world very well, and he doesn't seem. He had a lot of opportunity. He could tap me on the shoulder. I could say, "Here, this is against codes of ethics, and this is okay with the ethics code." But I don't think they were interested because Chris Hansen's the real reporter. So initially they struck down some stuff, and he took it back. They actually rolled it back, but then it appears Vince was striking stuff that was critical of him. So and
he has to answer for that.
And
I wonder the whole investigation.
I wonder if Nick Diorio is right, and Vincent's actions put the pressure on him to send him to Portland.
You know, if there hadn't been 6 months now of interviews and shows and the way that Hansen's gone through with almost every victim, I might be a little bit more on that side. If this felt rushed, if like it hadn't already taken place over the time that
it was totally unnecessary. If it was unnecessary, you know.
Right. But if this is the next logical step. And by the way, Onision has invited him to his house before. This was an invitation that he has put out before, and he also fucking wanted $100,000 to be interviewed at one fucking point.
Yeah, that was great.
Onision says a lot of things, and he feels he can never be held responsible for the things that he said.
Well, he hasn't. Fairness to him,
he hasn't, because none of us has been able to do anything besides meme the motherfucker for 10 years. And the biggest guys on the platform team won't cover the motherfucker because there's no money in it anymore. That's the reality, and that's a problem. And that's what Hansen is.
It's not that much of a problem. Onision's kind of helped me the last couple months. You know, he's helping build my other channel. So,
thanks, man.
All right, what about this? Go ahead.
Well, I could see. Could you not see Vince striking down stuff and Chris Hansen's name?
Oh, I mean, he's fundamentally admitted to it. When he entered the TCAP community, the TCAP, they embraced the legend. They tried to help him out. But I think what happened is Chris started getting striked bullshit copyright claims, so he naturally thought, well, that's what they do around here. And once he realized it wasn't, he took it away. But then their videos started coming out in Vince. And I think they hand.
That's a lot of money,
they hand him a mic
for a person,
and he does his thing because he's a fantastic interview, like Dave says. But it really is his question. Like, here's the thing: like, you can, call somebody a scumbag for dropping DMs or doing this, or doing that. But the real world doesn't give a shit, and especially in the United States, where you have no right to privacy unless your state constitution or state law says you do. Right, you do not have a right. Check the Constitution. You don't have a right to privacy. In Germany, you actually do. In certain situations,
they're actually a lot better about
it. But you do not have a right to privacy in the United States. And one of the reasons they think that could have, conflict with First Amendment laws and conflict with journalism. Here's another thing: everybody's he's a legitimate journalist. It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. Now, I know if I went to Onision'S house, and this is something to think about, and asked him for an interview. As a journalist, even we don't license journalists in the United States. We don't license them in the Western world. Right. I'd probably lose subs, even big as it could, because I'm locked in this world and I have to walk the line with the code in this world. and normies wouldn't care. But that would be a very dangerous move for me. But
it would be a suicidal move for you.
Yeah, but should it be? But and also,
Probably
what does that
not.
mean? What does that mean?
I think that's
if
where we
I'm
have to
doing
kinda
legitimate
disillusion this whole
journalism.
thing.
If I'm doing legitimate journalism, what's wrong with me going, Greg? I like to talk to you. Get out. I'm calling the cops. Okay, I left.
Peace. Right.
You know that what is wrong with that? You know, I'm not. If I went to Onision'S house and I started calling him Onion Boy or something, that's the first time I think I said
or
that.
threw a fucking rock through his window,
a rock through a window, or started taunting him. And doing my act and taunted him. Yeah, I think. But honestly, if I knocked on his door just like Chris Hansen did, right? And I'm not going to do it, guys. Believe me, it's something. It's something I wouldn't want to do.
Let's get a Kickstarter.
I wouldn't want to
get on a fucking plane.
I would only want to do it if I can get away with it. To be honest with you, but since I can't get away with it, it's not something I'm really interested in doing. But in the real world, not the internet world, that doesn't really count. I don't think I should be held accountable at all. And if for anybody that watched, some local news team bust a scam, they're doing the same thing. And what difference does it make if you have a YouTube channel or not? That's the question I'm asking. And I'll probably take some calls. And I really like to hear, what you're saying. What did Running Ride say? That motherfucker. I have to check this. First,
Did you see Billy,
the first coverage journalist, a random dude
Yeah,
with cameras all the
Billy. Billy thing. He's taking some shit today, Billy.
Yeah.
All last night.
No. He made a good point. The First Amendment covers journalists and random dude all the same. That's a really good. That's a good answer. Yeah, it doesn't like this. He's not violating the First Amendment. But there's
what we're talking about though.
There's online realities.
Culture.
There's online realities too.
We have our own rules.
This is like saying the N-word.
Remember, we can police ourselves so well on fucking YouTube. We've done such a good job up to this point. So we have this different rule set that we try to hold each other.
It's called COPA, and he swoops down from the air. It's called COPA.
Now COPA's a little bit different, but the golden rule shit, the whole fucking, we can't say certain things to certain YouTubers or shit like that, or we can't go to their house even and investigate. Why? Nothing has gotten done about this guy and many others for a long fucking time that have been able to run roughshod over YouTube, over the terms of services. Nothing gets happened. Nothing gets done. This guy's trying to take the next step, or he's blustering because he had to fucking make a move soon because of the whole Vince thing. That's possible too, but we don't know that. And because of the line of events, the chain of events that's happened up to this point with all the interviews and all the things that he's done, I don't think it's fair to fucking throw him under that bus that he's like, oh, he's just trying to make a move because he's out of moves. We don't know that. Not the way things have played out. This makes sense to me. It's the next logical move.
Yeah. I don't personally have a problem with it. Let me make that clear. I don't, because it's legit journalism. I would stick up for Greg if I thought it was beyond that. And Running Riot put it perfectly. The First supports. We don't license journalists. Anybody can be a journalist if they want to. And that's why it's a stupid job and doesn't really exist. And that's a whole other story for other. There's no such.
There's Tommy.
There's no such thing as journalism. It doesn't exist. If there was a rule book for journalism, it would be about as big as an 8-bit Nintendo cartridge manual. That's there's no code. Yeah. It's bullshit. It's all horseshit.
The ethics change.
Yeah, depending on what you want to do.
Amazing.
Yes. It's all but that's another show. No, I actually don't believe in journalists. A lot of people don't know.
Oh, you hate journalists.
I don't like them, and I don't think there's any such thing. I think it's a shield.
I think so too. I think
there's guys that actually go out and try to practice whatever the fucking code is that they learned in college, which is bendable. Like, I think Tim Pool makes an honest effort, but And what are you going to do with your reporter?
We've seen bends in that as well. I mean, everybody has it when it comes to ethics and all that, because it's an invisible line.
I don't know.
Ethics themselves are an invisible line that could really
journalist on the planet, and there's two reasons for this, I think, that tries to be straight except Tim Pool. Not fucking one. And I think the other reason I don't know the others is because they don't get the airtime. You have to express your I know it from YouTube. You have to express your opinions in order to get attention. Because you got to piss some people off and make some people happy, and then they want to watch it again. People that just do the news, so to speak, and say that 2-3 sentences that just only include facts, that's not enough to fill a fucking TV show. Unless you're an incredible entertainer. Yeah, well, I don't even think then. The quartering is full of shit. Yes, absolutely.
Well, I mean, not to beat him up a little bit here, but Scarce is popular because he's awful at his job. And he's so
he's actually got no. I got to defend. Scarce has improved immensely.
Has he? I don't know. He takes so many breaks. I couldn't tell him.
No, immensely. But I mean, I think Scarce is like, I don't think he considers himself a journalist. He got in this at a very young age, and he's just regurgitating and putting the news in a nice little wrap bow and putting it out there for you. I don't think I never got the feeling Scarce took himself that seriously.
No, it's not about taking himself serious. I'm saying that's unless you're a great entertainer or you have something that brings people to the table. Like Keemstar. Keemstar is a fantastic entertainer, no matter what else we want to say about him.
Scarce is likable, but Scarce, Keemstar is a great entertainer, and Scarce is really likable, and that's a gift too to have. Scarce is very likable.
8 Thoughts said it perfectly. Scarce is horrible, still though he's likable because he's a dork. He's got a nuance. He's got a shtick.
Well, he also has legitimate inroads to highly competitive esports. I mean, he does have like street cred in this community because he did play at a high level. He was it FaZe Red or Red? What did they call it, Doc?
It was Red. It
was just called Red. Yeah, but it was an offshoot of FaZe. So I mean, he played at a pretty high level. So that gave him credit.
So he had a built-in audience.
He had credibility on it, and then he built it off of. And then Keemstar fucked up in 2016. He hit 1 million subs. Tommy is a dork. That's why I love him. I don't think I'm that dorky. I think this fucker's dorky.
You're pretty dorky.
I don't think so.
And you got to definitely dorky. You're dorky in a different way, mainly just because you're old.
But I love me some gay porn. There you go.
Who doesn't? Yeah. Jesus.
There you go. So I don't know. Like, how does this? I mean, I heard Ned said he didn't. I guess he deleted the tweet. He certainly didn't like the. I mean, the doxing part is objectively wrong. Oh, how does this compare to the Jake Paul Post Malone situation? Because I think this is quite different. Jake Paul, I mean, if I remember correctly, Jake went out of his way to show his house number, and you could get a pretty good idea where he lives. So I think this is different. I didn't see Chris Hansen go out of his way to say this is where he lived. If you read his address stuff, even if it was public, I would have a differerent opinion than I do now. Okay, a much different opinion. But he didn't do anything.
Enhance the pixels.
Well, yeah. Well, he knocked on the door. He knocked on the door. He didn't show the number. He didn't say, by the way, everybody, he lives here. I know it's already public,
he's
but
a professional. He knows better.
Yeah.
And what was Jake Paul investigating Post Malone for?
Nothing. Post Malone made a crack about him. Post Malone made a crack about him, and they went over there to try to be cool. But what he was really doing is doxing him, and in a roundabout way. Like you would think, you would pixelize the license plate and pixelize the house number and stuff like that. Even if everybody knew.
Not if you have intent to dox, which I think you can make the logical argument that he did.
That was 2017 when Jake Paul.
Bill Baines is pointing out Chris Hansen's video wasn't even public. Somebody leaked it.
Right, that's a very good point too.
Group.
Oh, that's true.
See, I got a feeling.
Oh,
that
that's right. Because that was a
part
DM.
of a bigger bomb drop from Chris as well. Because I forgot about that point. That was just a leaked video. Wasn't even supposed to get out. We still don't even know how it got out. Chris Hansen hasn't even addressed that yet. He says things are coming. I wonder if he's going to talk about the leak and talk about what was supposed to happen before the leak came out. Because this happened on January 9th.
Yeah,
happened a couple days ago, and I don't even think we got the leak until the 10th. So I don't know.
Yeah. So who did he trust to send that DM to? Because I thought it was a streaming service initially, like Periscope or something.
It looked like Skype.
It did look like Skype.
Who would do that to him? Was that Vince?
You think? Man, Vince is like, you didn't support me enough. Here you go, you son of a bitch.
No, I'm thinking he's probably in contact with people that have done a lot of Onision'S shit that are probably feeding him credible information and all that.
Well, maybe they ask, hey, Chris, can I put this on Twitter? Can I take this DM? And he said, yeah, sure. That's possible too. So possibly you were getting.
That's pretty likely.
A little too suspicious.
Especially with all the people that we know that he's had. Yeah, we don't like. Over the last
hey, Matt Pitt, we don't know that Chris didn't give permission for this. To people should know.
That's true too.
Yeah,
it's a juicy leak.
It happened Friday. It happened on the 7th. We find out on the 11th. So maybe it took that long to Chris back. It's you could post that. That actually makes a lot more sense right now. All right.
Because I don't even think Hansen's used the word leak himself yet. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking some calls. Say hello to Dave. If you, I would really like to hear. I think what he did was wrong, and I have no problem with what he did at all. It's funny how Keem hasn't weighed in on this. I almost wonder.
I'm just wondering why so many absences. Why aren't if we care so much about what Hansen's doing, why aren't we covering more about the situation that lead up to this shit?
Keem would try to twist this into.
Why are we blaming the people who are fucking? Why are we trying to villainize or or vilify the people who are trying to actually
I think
do
it has
something
a lot to
stop
do.
this fucking behavior.
I think it has a lot to do.
Is it because they're jealous?
No,
Is it
I
because
think
they're upset
because he
that it's not them?
promised. Because he promised, or at least he came off like it was a promise. Like everybody was really excited. Chris Hansen, he's finally going to make people pay, and he didn't do it. So they're finding something else that irritates them instead
it takes
of
time, man.
This
is not something
we're talking about
rushed.
kids. Well, we're talking about kids. We're talking about people that are. I mean, I got to be honest with you. The anti-Onision community is not the most rational group of people I've ever run into.
No, they're not. I shout out.
I
to
mean,
the
it does get to the point.
Me.
You see, there's a Trump too. It's just a little. It's just like everything he does is a crime. Every single thing he does is a crime. That's not true, right? I mean, he wakes up and fucking blows his nose. That's a crime. Like I even saw somebody post something to the effect that by virtue of calling the police and filing a report that was a crime. Not really. Just because you make a stupid call to the clip or a stupid police, it doesn't necessarily mean it's criminal. It's like if he said that Chris Hansen kidnapped me, yeah, then we could talk.
A falsified report.
But he said the guy was trespassing and harassing.
We don't know what the report was, to be fair.
No, we don't. I know what it was. This guy's at my doorstep. He's harassing me on the internet. I have no idea why he's here. There was. There you go.
If it's in classic Onision style, it wouldn't shock me. Man, this is the guy who's fucking continuing to destroy wetlands for the fuck's sake and act like.
That's why everybody knows his address. That's a good point you bring that up, by the way.
It's that is the reason. Got shit on the books.
That is the reason he knows his. Let's check this out. Hold on, I've been told about this. Greg R.E. Jackson.
Oh, his fucking all of his information is long out there.
Gregory.
He's also fucking. How many times has he forced other people to contest strikes, thus doxing themselves essentially? Then he walks off right when it's supposed to go to court. This is the move this guy's made, and we're supposed to fucking give a shit when his information is already out there readily. When a fucking journalist who's been working this case for 6 months goes to take the next step to try and get something accomplished. No, sorry, I'm not going to shed a tear. There's no violation of any YouTube ethics. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, when it is, there is no such thing as unless you do this for a living. Unless you want to grow. Banana. Well, I don't see it on the main page. Somebody told me it was on the main page. The only people that are reacting negatively to YouTube commentators are all other commentators that are praising Chris Hansen. Do you think there's a fear here? You think although I think it's a slippery slope fallacy. Do you think there's a fear here that if it's okay to knock on Onision doors, it's okay to knock on their city's door?
I think it's a fear.
Yeah.
I think it's a legitimate fear that I think most YouTubers are going to have. It's like, why can't somebody just do it to me? Well, the fact is, if your information's public, especially, they can. They can, and they might. And by the way, I got a lot of friends, Ace Trainer Liam being one of them, who's talked about this. People do overstep, just regular people, and go to YouTubers' doors. And it's a gross overstep. If you're just going to get a little piece of somebody's fucking personal property or whatever, so you can have a little memento because you're a freaking fucking nature and you love this YouTuber so much, you're overstepping. That's not what this is. Yeah. This is a journalist going to get a statement on a guy he's been covering for half a fucking year.
And that also means that means me and you can do it.
Right.
I heard somebody said because he's an independent journalist, it's unethical to do it. I found that bizarre. That's it'd be interesting to see what Tim Pool had like.
He brings some cultural appropriation down to you.
Maybe I should do that. I should ask Tim if that'd be. It's too bad I don't have my phone next to me. Then I'd make the video right now.
The fact of the matter is, most of us don't have a reason.
I wonder if he's is. Let's write Tim a message now.
I'm going to get you in trouble right now. I'm going full roster.
No. Tim's very cool. I'm going to write him one now. Is it ethical? All right. For Chris Hansen. I don't think he's in a journalism degree and he's more ethical than most. To knock on Onision'S door.
I'd love to get him on.
Door, and he's always freaking busy. I don't know. For him, I don't think he'd be very comfortable him. But his brother was
our one question. Let's be unreasonable.
Is it ethical? I'm sending this question. He maybe if we hear a little buzzing sound, maybe we'll hear it. So I just sent him a message. Let's see what he says, and I'll get back to you. We got some calls. Matt Pitt, you're on with Dead on Dave. What's happening?
1 second.
What do you mean 1 second?
Oh my God, I missed this.
Nothing changed. What do you mean 1 second?
1 second.
That's more than 1 second, isn't it?
Sorry. I had the stream on. My
What's
bad.
up?
No, I just wanted to point out that Mr. Gigi, the YouTuber who makes videos about Chris Hansen, said that
Saw the video.
Vincent likes to pull publicity stunts and pitch the publicity stunt to Mr. Gigi.
Oh, really?
And I kind of think that this is a publicity stunt. The leak is Vincent, and it's a publicity stunt.
Okay.
We're not basing that off anything other than a feeling.
Yeah, and it came out like 2 days late, 3 days later.
Right.
You know, and he.
Well,
I
just feel like Vincent's kind of shady.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this is something he would do.
Do we even know that Vincent is still currently working with Hansen? I mean, we don't even know that maybe he's been.
We don't know if he's not.
About it
we don't
yet.
know. If
we
he's
don't.
not.
We don't know any of that yet. So I don't know if it's fair to instantly go to Vincent, leak this because he's trying to do it.
I don't know how relevant it is. Let's say he did leak it. I don't know how relevant it is. So what,
right. No, I'm not. I'm just saying allegedly.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm just pointing out the fact that he's done this before.
Well, let's pretend he did. So what? Like, how's it changed? How's it changed?
No, I have nothing. I mean,
no, I'm not criticizing you. I'm asking you a question. I'm not criticizing you. I'm judging you.
Yeah,
like, okay,
Matt, do you have any problem with that? If that were the case, would you have a problem if it was a publicity stunt?
Absolutely not. Not at all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just. It's
that's
weird.
a lot of money. I guess
maybe that's why they didn't come out with. Maybe they were a little more weird than we thought. Crackling Crow, do you think Chris Hansen went to Critics for footage? I see this ending up on TV as a special. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
Well, he did say recently that he signed a deal with, I forget what network, but he's got a TV show coming out.
If he can fucking be the guy to take down somebody who's had as many allegations against him as Onision, and with the nuance that YouTube's never done anything about it, that's something he could sell to a major network.
Well, that's the thing he ran into. I watched one of my old news videos, and I watched, because he talked to Susan Wojcicki, and let's put Dave put his thing. I watched him talk to, or he said he talked to Susan Wojcicki, and he ran into the wall of Wojcicki. And they treated him like they treated most, big creators on the site, like just kind of, yeah, sure, yeah, we're listening and doing nothing. The other thing, isn't it amazing that guys will lose their monetization, and the ones we know of are all for political reasons, and guys like convicted sex creeps like Lionmaker, and I can say that,
who was allowed back on the platform,
was never allowed, never kicked off. And
while his victim was running his channel while he was in prison.
It's weird because if my channel gets in trouble for praising Trump and using Trump praise, and it really takes off, I got a pretty good chance of getting fucking clipped in some way, losing my monetization, search results. God, I got a notification from Tommy Robinson, which I almost forgot I subscribed to. There's no comments, there's no subscription bar, there's no bell. You can't put anything in there. You can just simply watch the video. I don't know if I'm getting all the notifications or not, and I can't even find the channel that I subscribed to unsubscribe if I wanted to subscribe, even if I do a search for Tommy Robinson. I mean, that's how, but I know why he's there. It's because he criticizes Islam. I know why Crowder lost it, and these are the people. It only seems that they come down on conspiracy theory groups and conservatives or people that lean on the right. I know Sargon lost. He's not really on the right, but he's definitely not mainstream. He's not a mainstream liberal by any chance. The only people they ever come down on are people with different ideas. They don't come down on pedophiles. Even on Twitter, where Tipster's lost his. Tipster likes to argue with pedophiles and furries, which I don't understand, right? But
yeah, Tipster likes to argue with a lot of people.
But they took his Twitter account away for it, so you can dunk on everybody but pedophiles. Like, what is fucking Seattle telling us here? I mean, what is Google telling us here? Like
that's
hate
cool? Your speech, and therefore it's hate speech.
Yeah, but they don't mind guys talking about fucking kids.
Right, that's completely okay and acceptable, apparently, and we'll let you keep monetizing your videos while you fucking.
I think the only reason they haven't. The only reason they haven't protected Onision is because he's just an asshole. I've always believed that.
And he's a dead channel.
Think about that though. How did we get 500,000 fucking hits on a stream that didn't hit the algorithm till a month and a half later, almost 2 months after we did it? It's just almost like they flip on the switch for Onision. It's almost like they flip on against him.
I think because there's a mobilizing audience.
The only people that get
there's
100,
a big audience.
the only people that get 100,000 on a
every time something
stream,
major happens, they mobilize.
the only people that get 100,000 on a motherfucking stream are high PewDiePie-esque and fucking Mr. Medicaid.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't even know. I'm assume he would get because he can pull anywhere between 10 and 19,000 per stream, and
Easy.
Those would probably end up very easily being over 100,000. But they don't promote streams like that, and it's not. No. Yeah, and most YouTubers take it down, so it's tough to measure. But I mean, they don't promote stream, and they gave it to us.
Right.
I mean, I understand the cast. It was a good cast. And it was unique because you had two people that are, if you want, for lack of a better word, experts on the situation. Even though we did
at the very least, veterans.
We did fuck up the SF thing.
because it was subjective. We're not Air Force.
Yeah, we weren't Air Force.
I researched that all fucking day. Found all the information I could on it. It was the best we could do.
Yeah, but it is weird. I felt like, and I remember, I tell you, I showed it in Nerd City, and I showed him the stats, and he knows for who he talks to on the type of stats that click you into getting the algorithm, and he didn't see it on the stats of that video. I think I showed him the other one that took off right after that, which is when I
so
Googled
on
FaZe Banks. Exactly, it was an anomaly. When we looked at the FaZe Banks, and it was click-through ratio that at the time, I don't know if it's still the case anymore, that clicked with the algorithm. In my click-through ratio was about not even dead average for what my other ones would get anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 hits. So it almost feels like they got something against them.
I think there was something very specific that happened.
Yeah.
I think about a month after the video dropped, I think Onision not only got into another controversy, but I was getting messages that our video was starting to go through the fucking anti-O community like hotcakes.
That could have pushed it over. But that would show the click. But if that's true, they would have had to check out another video. True. And that would have added.
Which there's no evidence of that.
There's no evidence of that happening. That's So how many people could that be? Another 5,000-6,000. Okay, it hit 10K, and then it's sitting at 9,000 hits, which is good. And then 2 months later, when I was in London, actually, when I ran into Alex, and somebody starts telling me that the video's taken off, and I look at it, it's like it's got 20,000 hits, and I'm like, now it's got 50,000 hits, like 2 hours later. So yeah. It is weird. I feel like
it's very possible that another controversy, and I know he started talking about it again too.
Look at my news channel.
He started making a right around the same time. Started making a big deal about his service again.
Look at my news channel. This stuff that only gets any traction is Onision. I can't believe that's only Onision people. I feel like YouTube's got it out for him. I don't care. But
I don't know. I think that the fact that they've ignored so many of the things that he's done that are in clear violations. I mean, this guy is one of the biggest copyright fucking abusers on the platform. Maybe the fucking biggest. He pushes people to the last day before this goes to a legal precedent.
I just announced it yesterday.
He pushes it to the last day every time.
I just announced
then
it
he
yesterday.
backs off.
Yeah, I just announced it yesterday. I did not talk about it because I just didn't want to get involved or anything. Greg striked me. And I just
did he really?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. And
on which video?
Right on to the last day. I forget. It's when he completely freaked out, did his whole Joker bit right after he lost his Patreon. Actually, he listed that what I uploaded was like something from Patreon because he wrote Patreon on it. It simply wasn't true. It was basically his public statement after he lost his Patreon. So I went on Patreon, I took that and uploaded it, which would definitely copyright, but it's a straight lie,
Wait, Onision lies? No.
Yeah.
No.
All right, Matt. Thanks for being on, bud. Let me take another call.
Good call.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Sweaty, you're on here.
Ooh, I like
1 second.
Oops.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just making sure I'm on mobile.
You're
All right.
wonderful. Don't move around a lot. That's my advice. What do you got?
So, have you ever heard of True Crime Daily?
Yes. Yes, of course. So look who you're talking to.
For a while.
Yes.
Sleep for that.
Yeah.
It's what Crime Watch Daily turned into after Chris Hansen left, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they still have Chris Hansen videos that come out every so often too, like old ones. They re-release them or something.
Yeah, they do like stories on people, like murders and all that stuff, and then they show up at people's houses
all the time
and try and do interviews.
Good point.
Why is it okay for them to do that, but Chris Hansen's not allowed to now.
Well,
for all of them to do it.
Well, there's a different code in the online world than there is in Normandyville. You know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know,
YouTubers are freaking out. That's why.
Look, if you break the code, like there's another code, don't criticize another YouTuber than you unless he's already on his way down. That's like an unwritten code too. Like look at Nick. He points out he points out some of Nerd's hypocrisy, and Nerd didn't do this in fairness to him. And he's accused they don't even check his argument. You're a clout chaser. My first experience in Leafy more than when I stuck up for Tommy NC. Leafy's fan. You're doing this to build your channel. They don't talk about what the criticism was. They talk about the motivations, which they can apparently read as clear as day. Now, I can understand this sincerity coming into a criticism, but when it's your only defense, you know, it gets kind of thin. Now,
it's always
yeah. So you have to, but it's a reality too, though, because like you do have to watch. The only people I know that don't go by that code are me, Willie Mack, and Nick DiOrio, and Augie. They're the only ones that'll criticize their friends or their allies or anything like that. They're the only ones around the road that they don't.
Wow, and they're all assholes too. I love all of them, but all assholes that don't give a fuck.
They all take that and they consider the only people on the on this platform that don't weigh. Like, can I criticize this guy? No, because it's not good for the channel. That either. You know.
And this is what bothers me about like the drama alert stuff and things. If anyone that only covers a handful of fucking stories, what about the other 95% of things that's going on that never gets touched? That's the reason why we're having regulations in the first fucking place. Because there's so many out of control things that's left going unchecked. Somebody's trying to come check this shit for the first time.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
And we want to get in the way of it? Get the fuck out of here.
No, this is where I disagree with you completely. First of all, the regulation was coming because politicians want power. I don't buy this stuff. I mean, this is where I don't blame Nerd City. It's a little ridiculous to blame him for the COPA thing. The COPA thing was brought on by YouTube grossly violating it. So what they did is they took that publicity and turned themselves to their own FCC for YouTube, which was not necessary. The fine sufficed. They got it. But they have more power than just compliance. Now they've effectively taken over child's content and probably rendered it unmonetizable. That's what's happened. Child's content is unmonetizable
because of went unchecked.
Yeah, no, but the check. Here's the thing. I'd rather have Jake Paul and Lele Pons do what they're doing. And here's the solution to the fucking problem: a nuclear fucking bomb. Nobody can do it because I got to be honest with you. Ryan's Toy Show isn't doing anything wrong. Isn't doing anything. So you have to tolerate.
Is excessive.
You have to. It always is excessive, though. There's never good regulation.
Of course.
There's never ever good regulation. That's what I don't understand. What Nerd City didn't understand. There's never good regulation. You're better off letting Jake Paul get away with it. Fucking Willie Max talked about this before. Don't hand them the keys. He talked about it when Logan Paul got caught with the Japanese. Don't hand them the keys. Because they're just going to blow up the car. And that's what happens every time, without a doubt. And not just with YouTube, just in life in general.
I don't know if I'm okay. I don't know if I'm not okay with the car getting blown up in certain instances.
The whole thing? Then you can't drive.
No, but unfortunately, that's out of our hands. Unfortunately, when it goes out of that control. But that again, if people fucking get checked a little bit earlier, if fucking YouTube ever does what they say they're going to do according to the TOS, this doesn't happen.
No, if YouTube, well, I think it's a combination.
It doesn't happen.
It's a combination. I think they were grossly violating, taking kids' data. This fucking what they've done doesn't stop that. The fine would have sufficed.
We know that.
What they're doing now is they're regulating child's content. That wasn't the idea. And to have direct oversight, and even go on and saying some of these FTC guys saying these YouTubers are like fish in the barrel. That's what we invited. That's what we invited. A lot of people are scared. It's like, look, I do video game content, but it's for adults. What's going to happen? Which is completely fucking reasonable. And depending who's in charge of the FTC, and let's take a really good example over here in Germany, where they had a guy that was in charge of what was virtually the German FCC. Right? They didn't call it that, obviously. And
he was in charge of the TV,
and he said
TV
streams don't count as radio. Well, the next guy comes in and says they did. Now, what's to stop the next guy coming in? The next guy coming in said all video content is child's content. Boom, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Right.
We're fucked. And yes, it's always YouTube's fault, Google's fault for taking those kids' information. That's 100% true. But a lot of it, gotta blame yourself if you're inviting it.
Yeah.
Nerd City invited it.
To a point, yeah.
And you're inviting it. So my thing is,
I
I would rather Jake Paul get away with murder. Nerd City doesn't have to raise my fucking kids. I can turn off Lele Pons myself if I find something that's inappropriate. And I'll deal with them if we can keep it free for everybody else. But what this does, it punishes the minority. It's meant to punish the minority, but it just punishes everybody. And that's why it's stupid. And it happens every time.
To be fair to the situation, though, when we make a video, we can't control who watches the fucking video. And we all do exposed videos. We all call people out. Now, if that video gets in the hands of somebody who can actually make a fucking regulation change, that's just part of fucking putting out our videos. We can't control what happens after.
Well, you can control it if you're soliciting fucking if you're soliciting the media. It's a little different. See, Nerd City has no room to climb. He's pro-regulation. What he said to me. And what he said to me, and what he said to on No Jumper was categorically untrue. And it's okay.
I can agree with this.
What? No,
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's categorically untrue.
Nerd City, though. We have to understand that too.
It's categorically you can't have it both ways. You can't see anti-regulation and then push people towards regulation. And it's fine. Like if Nerd City's pro-regulation, we can agree to disagree. But there's no goddamn way in the world that I am going to say when he says I'm anti-regulation or I'm uncomfortable with bullshit. You did a thought patrol, you made a check click, and you essentially said, hey, this bitch is violation of the law, go get her, after going on No Jumper and said, look, Copa's not what I wanted. Copa's what you wanted.
I think
you got it.
When the law is now in place and you can point to it as part of the video, I don't know if it's necessarily the same correlation. You know, unless we could show him selling it or soliciting it to the fucking news media sites or something like that. For me, just saying enjoy your regulations isn't the same. You know, to me.
Enjoy but like he said he wasn't
because
happy
that's what
with,
he said.
but it doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't make any sense if he was unhappy with it or it's not what he asked for.
And he was able to show the violation.
No, I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that at all because he essentially said on No Jumper that that wasn't his intent, and then proudly promotes it in a video that has nothing. In a video that has nothing to do with Copa. In video that had nothing to do with Copa. It was a thought patrol.
No, but there was a violation of the YouTube rules that were not being enforced by YouTube. So I mean, I can see why he.
But this doesn't improve that. This doesn't stop. No, it just it blows up the car. It blew up the car, and exactly what I told him to. I said it to him when I saw the video a day before. Are you worried about regulation? And he essentially said, "Kinda." I did think about that, but I think this is more important to protect kids. That's essentially what he said to me. And then, when the thing drops in September and October, he's in complete denial that he has any responsibility in promoting this.
Now, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem right there. When you deny culpability, I think you have to own what you do. If you decide to flip a coin for the fate of fucking YouTube because you think somebody did something wrong, you at least have to say that's what you did. And I hope
that's my whole problem. Look, he believes in regulation. It's very clear. He's pro-regulation, and we can agree to disagree. I'm sorry, I'm not buying this. I'm not pro-regulation. You can't have it both ways. You can't suck off the normies and then bullshit us. It's that simple.
I think that's fair.
What a dummy.
Sweaty. What were you going to ask? I forgot about you. Sweaty?
Oh, hi. Sorry, I'm still here.
Anything else? Anything else?
No,
Me and Dave haven't spoken in a while. Me and Dave haven't spoken. Dave and I haven't spoken.
I fucking missed this shit.
That's a lot of money, I guess.
No, going back to y'all's stream on Onision that got like 500,000 views.
Yeah.
I know my husband and myself have watched it like 7 times together.
Why?
He was a Marine. He was a Marine, and he loves listening to boots get torn apart. He loves it.
Yeah, really? Is he Army? Is he ex-Army?
No, he was a Marine.
A Marine? All right. I'm 3 steps ahead. Semper Fi. Do or die.
No, he loves listening to you guys tear him apart. It's his favorite video.
I think we did a pretty good job because we had to be really the only time I've ever done a disclaimer in Shot Point history. I thought we were fair, and he said he's legitimately a veteran. But the smartest thing was what you said. like this is no record to be proud of. You know, this is like a really shitty one. You know, it's like, technically you were in the Air Force. That makes you a vet, because questioning veteran status on unless you got it 100% right. It's like calling somebody a pedophile. If under YouTube's rules, if you question, if somebody comes on, although I'd never do anything, and say I wasn't in the Army, I was a soldier, I'm a lion, I got every right to strike them down. Under YouTube's guide, never would do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's happened to me before too. I've been accused of lying about my service. It's a little tough with Dave around, considering we're the same unit.
The right and executing the right.
Yeah,
well, I'll call you.
I would never. Yeah, I'll call it out, but I'm not going to YouTube. I don't need YouTube to protect me. You know,
no. That's something that's self-regulatory though. That doesn't need to go to fucking YouTube. That's something you can.
Well, yeah, that's why Nerd City made those videos, because he wanted Jake Paul to see them and go, I think I'll self-regulate. Regulate.
Maybe Nerd City felt he was the one to get through to him, you know, give that heartfelt speech. You never fucking know.
Okay. Now, Copa came.
Copa's here. Here to stay.
Copa came. All right, Sweaty. Nice talking to you. I'm going to get to Man Luigi 98 and close it out with Nicholas Diorio. All right.
Eats. My boy Eats.
It's Eats. Is that what you call him?
Nick Eats Diorio. Fucking ain't right.
Oh, there you go. You're where the fuck is he? Okay.
Middle name.
It's one of these guys who he's one of them. I hate them. All right, we'll close it out with Nick. Nick, you have any questions?
Hey, what's going on, Dave? I am so glad that you're back on this show.
I'm glad I'm back. Finally, Tommy's got the co-host he deserves once again.
So I just wanted to ask you your thoughts on just a little simple issue. I was wondering why Nerd City tries to hold YouTubers to fucking television standards, and then he tries to hold a journalist to YouTube standards. Kind of a funny comparison there. I mean, this is the span of what, like, I don't know, like 3 days, so maybe had some life-altering situation happen to him from now to then, but I don't know. Just an interesting take.
Yeah,
it is. It's definitely got some things to think about. There's no question.
I just wish he'd come clean.
It's a weird thing. There's hypocrisy.
I just wish he'd come clean.
Dude, I talked to him. I get it now. After talking to him, I really genuinely understand it.
Yeah.
His very smart, not stupid at all plan was to go, well, you know what? There's this law, CTA, right? Like the CTA law, it affected Transformers a couple years ago. They kind of made it a little bit looser, but we're going to pretend that didn't happen for the sake of everyone else.
Yeah.
And, you know, CTA, I mean, it could like affect us in the next 5 years. So I'm just going to make this video. It's a nice little million view tap on the shoulder to Jake Paul and let him know, hey, man, there's this law that's completely irrelevant and that, like, you should probably start thinking about changing it. You know, like, considering that you might run into trouble 5 years from now, I think you should triple your income right now. It sounds like a great idea. No, it's a fantastic idea.
Yes.
And then, he's just trying to help the platform with laws that are completely irrelevant to the conversation and the topic at hand.
Well, that's one thing that I think he got called out by DeFranco for that. In the Jake Paul video, if I remember correctly.
And then when we called him out, he said two things. One of them was, what did Nick even find out? He just read an article. And then his other comment was dogfights on cruise ships. So I do understand what he's getting at. But I don't know if he's very good at this.
Yeah.
See, I think what I've always looked at it from is, and I've been saying this Tommy can attest to this, for the last 5-6 years. I've always felt with the way that YouTube has been run, regulations were the only fucking end game. They were always coming. I think I've always felt that.
I don't think we should ask for them, though. I think we should fight it, though.
No, I don't know. Hell no, I'm not asking for them. Jesus fucking Christ. I like the Wild Wild West.
But you don't have to make, like, FCC jailbait, dude.
No, I agree with that. But at the end of the day, when you start making these videos that so many of us do, we can't always know what the outcome is going to be. In this case, though, I think...
Yeah, but you don't got to send them to the journalists either.
You know what
that's a little bit of a problem.
That's a little bit of a problem.
Yo, I really don't want this, but, hey, Bill,
check
can
this
you write
out
a good article?
Nerd's 100% right about Lele and Jake being immoral, and they could convince
in violation
kids,
of the regulations.
But at the end of the fucking day, like, I have an 11-year-old that loves Lele Pons. She's starting to watch English YouTube, by the way. And I have an 11-year-old that loves Lele Pons. Okay, now I have yet to see. I wasn't aware that she made that kind of content. Most of the content I've seen Laura watch was the phony high school skits. You know, just a bunch of skits that were absolutely harmless. And I didn't hear any F-bombs or anything like that. I turned it off. I did. But it's this idea, and I'm a parent, of a child that he's trying to protect, of that age. If she comes to me and asks me, can I buy a loud, get the fuck out of here and get shit. And that's it. That's why I don't need Nerd City, and I don't need COPA, and I don't need the government breathing, because at the end of the day, I have the checkbook. I remember hearing this about Fortnite. All these kids are spending tons of money on skins. Fuck their parents. Right. You know, like, you know.
This is the thing that set him apart.
It's so unnecessary.
This is the thing that really put him on the track to 1 million. That's what I think it was. I think that Jake Paul video was like revolutionary in that it was the first time anyone made a Jake Paul video in a long time that actually brought something new to the table.
It moved the needle.
Unfortunately, it was regulation, and now he can make a Thought Patrol video where he like goes after ass and titties, but like he's got to shoehorn a 6-minute segment about regulations into it.
Well, but to be fair, now the regulations are part of the everyday fucking conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sorry, Dave. If you weren't happy with that, if that's not what you wanted, you wouldn't wear it on your fucking chest like a badge.
And that's the problem. He has got to own it. He's got to own it.
I mean, it's not a problem if he does. Like, oh, this is a total agree to disagree situation. But I am not fucking tolerating. I don't care how much he donates to this fucking channel for a fucking second. This kind of talking to one group one way and talking to another group another way. Bull fucking shit. And he is my biggest. By the way, I want to make this clear. He is my biggest
I'd say if this
donator.
guy said this is the only way to save the kids, if he came out and goes, you know what, I think this is the only way to save the kids, I'd go agree to disagree.
Whatever.
But he's
whatever.
not.
No, that should be at the end of the conversation too.
Yeah, he's sitting down the middle. He's like, well, you know, I mean, this is a good idea. This is bad stuff, but I also am I'm for an open platform. It's
no, you're
not
not
possible.
Because as a guy who likes to consider himself fair when he's talking about topics and shit like that, I think the intent when you do stuff like that is because you don't want a bias to start. Like if you start saying I'm pro-regulation, then every video you do from that stage forward is going to have that pro-regulation bias, or the opposite.
Yeah.
You say I'm not trying to bring this down. Well, everyone's going that's watching.
Well, he could say in this one, no, but he could specify in this one particular. I think regulation is appropriate. By the way, there's certain things that I think regulations are appropriate. I think I'll give you a regulation example. I don't think they should be able to fucking kick us off the goddamn platform. It's the public square. I don't care if you're a fucking Ku Klux Klansman. That's where I think they can come in and regulate. You can't kick these people off. You don't have to promote them. You don't have to give them money, but you cannot fucking kick them off.
Where's the line? Is it only at speech, or are we okay with people like Lion Maker?
I'll tell you where the line is. Right-wing commentary. It's very simple.
We know that about a speech, but I mean, are you saying across the board on anything? Are you okay with the fact that Lion Maker's been booted for fucking children and stuff?
I think if they had
I'm okay with that. Get him off.
That's a lot of money.
If they would just
get him off.
Here's the thing. If they set the standard, if you're caught doing something criminal offline, okay, we can't risk our platform being used to entice kids. You're gone. And they put that in writing and stick by it tomorrow. I can support it. And if they also say, because it's before this is post the government getting involved the way I want them to. If they also say, look, this is up to the police and the public to decide whether they want to watch them or not, I'm okay with that as well. But stick to something.
The thing is, I don't want to open the door to get banned for something off platform. That's something Twitch has. That's a lot of people dislike. I think. I mean, obviously,
the solution
any job
to 90%.
Yeah, but if Lion Maker fucks kids is where I become a hypocrite on that statement, then I'd be happy to say that I'd like.
I don't think it's a hypocrite.
I think I'll own
I gotta be honest with you.
Like
I gotta be honest with you. Not all double standards are wrong. They're wrong.
I agree with
that. Not all double standards are wrong. I mean, or it's not even double standards. Separate standards for separate situations. I don't think it makes you a hypocrite. And I don't know this. And that's the way kind of I think Nerd could get out of this, because it doesn't make him a hypocrite for this one thing that's very important to him. And by the way, I don't believe Nick's right, because I had a conversation before. I do believe this came from a sincere face, not a YouTube place. He believes in this. He believes that kids are being used. I absolutely talked to him offline, spoke to him, heard his voice, heard the inflection in his voice. He believes in this. This is not just for.
Well, I mean, that would make me right, wouldn't it? Because I'm calling him a hypocrite.
Well, I think he's being.
I'm saying he's pro-regulation. If he comes off saying this is from a place like I believe this, then you know what that makes him?
Yeah.
That makes him pro-regulation.
Yeah, and that's fine. And that's what I'm saying. He's pro-regulation
for different
in this
reasons.
particular situation. Right. But he also could be anti-regulation in another situation. I'm pro-regulation in this particular part. But the rest of the stuff I've been seeing, and
that's a lot of money.
I'm sorry. I got to be honest with you. Nerd went normie. It's that simple.
Well, I mean, let's look at it from a standpoint too. One of the problems I've always had with YouTube is the lack of definition. Is it a job? Is it a place where we're able to store our videos? We don't know what the fuck we are. We private contractors, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
In the real world, when you are getting money for a fucking service that you're providing, it's a fucking job. And in that job, if I decide to go throw a brick through a fucking window or fuck a kid or do something else,
You could lose that job.
chance I'm going to lose my fucking job over it.
Yeah.
So I've always looked at it through that. But I'm old and I'm a normie. So I look at YouTube through that lens. Is it the right lens? I don't know, but it makes the world a lot easier to sort out.
Yeah. You know, I do apply real life stuff. I don't always go by the code of the internet. You guys sound like YouTube founding fathers discussing YouTube. That's why I got Dave. That's exactly why I got Dave, because we can take a stupid topic. We can take a stupid topic like, YouTube ethics and etiquette with big YouTubers and Onision being a groomer and make it sound reasonably intelligent. Can't do it all the time, but you can do it on this. Most of the time, I want this stupid.
John Hancock it up, baby.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's actually a very nice
Bro,
compliment.
I had people writing me and shit. This is one of the funniest comments I ever received. Nick is only criticizing Nerd City for clout and internet points. And I'm just looking at this and I'm like, okay, so your thought process is I'm going to get internet points for criticizing one of the most beloved creators on the platform. How many friends am I making in this community by going
most
on this
beloved, most talented,
zero,
I mean, yeah, exactly. No, Nick has a legit beef and a legit point. He doesn't make Nerd a bad guy. You know?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I even said that in the tweet.
It's funny. Your criticism of Nerd City a minute ago, too, is kind of a little bit of the same what you just got accused of. This was the video that can make fucking Nerd City go to that next level.
Yes, I think that was a legitimate criticism of you, Nick.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, I don't think
it's kind of funny.
Yeah. That's why I kind of chimed in. I think this is sincere from his heart. I just don't think he's been sincere about it in the public. Also, Nerd City wrote back to Nick and said, well, because Nick kind of, it was a hyperbole, but he called him a snitch. And Nerd wrote back to Nick and said something to the effect of, he's calling a snitch, you're acting like we can't talk about it. And I told Nick offline, I was like, I think he's right about that. Let's have this. Right. We should be able to have the discussion without doing that. But I also know what Nick was doing. But I know what you were doing too.
That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, hey, listen, you're making really good points, but why do you have to bring in CTA, a law that doesn't apply to the platform we're on for the second time, and try to connect the dots? Why do we have to sit here and go, hey, look at all these laws in other forms of media? Let's totally flag everybody down. You're making jail bait for fucking federal government.
I think he thought it was a legitimate thing that would be coming down the pipe. So he's looking for
it's
something
starting
that
to look like it's starting to look like he wants more regulation. Because if you remember correctly, when he came on this show,
in these two situations, I think you can make that case.
I mean, remember when he came on this show? Well, what was it? What were we? That was important.
That stream is so funny.
Yeah, the stream. The only stream he actually really ever came on, where I thought it was just going to be a discussion, and it got off the rails really, really quick, because what was it
because he was butthurt. Because he got butthurt. And I love Nerd City, but he was clearly butthurt that whole fucking stream.
Yeah.
That video I made was horrible. It was so bad. It was the first thing I ever created. It was the worst video I've ever made.
Yeah. But I'm sorry. I think, I think it's an interesting topic to bring up with Onision and Chris Hansen, because that has to do with internet code. And you can kind of, you normies out there can scoff it off, but I can't. I mean, I can't, there's hardcore fans that would leave me if I had no internet code whatsoever. But I've actually talked people into, look, Golden Rule's horseshit. Golden Rule's horseshit. I'm telling you this, and I'm going to tell
it's been proven by this point that
it is horseshit. It's because of me. Because of me. All right.
You're a trendsetter.
Yes.
What can we fucking say, Tommy?
Because of me. I'm influential. There you go. That's because
Tommy trendsetter.
Yeah, that's right. I gave people talking points to argue with.
Well, I mean, in that case, I think that's an easy one to look into, especially when we're at the time we were pointing out how when you stay silent, you're allowing someone else to get fucked over or yourself to get fucked over, and it's happened over and over. If you know that the person that you're fucking with has something to prove what you're saying is a fucking lie, guess what? You're not going to lie about it.
And the last time you said that on the Kavos episode, when I dumped his DMs. That's the last time that you said that. And I got to be honest with you. I was, I took a lot of heat for being a scumbag, blah, 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 blah. And in fairness to Cabos, he said, no, dump my DMs. Fair enough. If that's the way you feel, well, whatever. And even though we were kind of warned at the time, and that's the exact phrase you use. And I haven't heard that golden rule used since. So that would have been early 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Maybe late 2017. Yeah, that was the last. I don't hear that fucking word golden rule, and I'm glad. So thanks for proving my point, Dave.
You're gonna punch back.
I'm a trendsetter. I changed it. I fucked Keemstar's golden rule. Keemstar he even gives you the golden rule speech when you're in a podcast with him. Because nobody will trust you. Like, well, what about you? What if you run around telling What if you run around telling people shit I didn't say, and I can prove that you didn't say that you didn't tell me that, or I didn't say it? Fuck off. All right.
That's what he told me, and since then I've worked with more massive YouTubers.
I know, and that's another thing. That's a lie too. That's a lie too. That when we've we stabbed people in the back and broke the golden rule, and we do have a code.
That's a lot of money.
We do have a code for breaking the golden rule, so to speak. Tommy, your turn. I don't have another hat. Yeah, and you only put $2.
By the way, doesn't it look like I'm ready to go discover a body in the fucking Japanese forest?
Yes, it does. We can get that. All right, I gotta hit donators real quick. And Lord, welcome back, Dave. Speedy Bird, re-upped on Twitch. Thank you so much. 23 months in a row on Twitch. Thank you so much. Optimus World, the Copus King, has returned to SFTP.
That's right.
Jeff the Chid, people are more patient for the new content cop than the FBI long investigation. Core Master likes men.
Holy
welcome
shit,
back.
I leave for a year and Jeff is funny? What's going on?
I don't know if that's Jeff or not.
Probably not. If it was funny, probably not.
I see I see a crown back there, Princess Dave. Okay. RT Flyfire. It makes me cringe knowing that I live only an hour from Onision. Makes me hate Washington more. I hate your Pacific Northwest if it makes you feel better. Jay Nord, we already shouted him out. Of course, the beautiful Adala Phoenix diva, who's done some work with Tipster. I should go check that out, and also check out her Twitch channel. You might see her in there. Put it in there if you want to. I don't care. And then we also got the Super Berries. Let me give that a good old nice refresh, because that's always the thing to do. Warden, with several great donations. Cackling Crow, Big E. Dave's on here. Cackling Crow. The only issues that I see is a lack of accountability and DMCA doxing from Team Hansen. Yeah, that's a different. That's not this episode though, but it's a different. Yeah, I think it's more of a Vince thing. To be honest,
if it's the Vince stuff,
it's a Vince stuff. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, Hansen struck down a video exposed Vince. Yeah, I think that's Vince.
He took it back though, right?
KX with a huge $50 donation. Do appreciate that. Casper C, do you speak to anything for views or clown? But anything for views unfollowed me, and he doesn't talk.
He unfollowed me too, motherfucker. He was supposed to come on my show and he never did. I'm blaming him.
What a shock! What a shock! Well, he has cold ones now. He doesn't need you.
Even Zoe Berger eventually came on. Jesus Christ, Chad.
He's a fucking YouTuber to the bone. RT Flyer, have you played?
That's
Age
a lot
of
of money,
yet?
I guess, for a person of color.
That's the second time I'm reading that. Fidel Castro with the 99. Thanks so much. No. Kill Switch also says welcome back, and that's all we got. That's all we got. Here's something I want to point out. I want to yell at fucking the left wing kook running riot. Something I saw him post in the chat. He said if YouTube was unregulated, that it would be out of control. It was better then. The almighty infinite, independent excellence, devil fighting, rebel titan. People still talking about 2016. Okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. In the 80s. Wow. Here's another thing to think about. In the 80s, when they talk about, when they put those rules in that Nerd City was talking about, right? Yeah. The toys, G.I. Joe, Transformers, they were better. They got rid of those rules in. Toys started to suck. The 80s were better. Wild YouTube was better. Fuck your kids. I don't care if your kids believe Lay, but fuck them in the ass. You're stupid. You're a horrible parent. It's not my fault. Bye.
I'm black. I'm